Episode 8. Parenting Through Pressure. There's a kind of pressure that leaders talk about all the time. Deadlines, decisions, responsibility, stress. But there's another kind of pressure that we rarely mention, even though it shapes us far more deeply. Parenting through difficult seasons. Parenting when you're tired. Parenting when you're unwell. Parenting when you're scared. Parenting when work is collapsing. Parenting when the future feels uncertain. Parenting when you feel like you're holding yourself together with threads. And yet, you still show up. You care. You still try. You still lead. You still love. Today's episode is for parents who carried more than their children ever knew and kept going anyway. The parts of my story I didn't talk about earlier. When I talk about cardiomyopathy, when I talk about diagnosis, when I talk about the collapse in 2022, when I talk about the restructure in 2024, when I talk about the uncertainty of work, there's something I don't always mention. I was a parent through all of it. And being a parent changes every part of how you experience illness, stress, fear, recovery. Because when you're a parent, you aren't just managing what's happening to you, you're protecting the emotional world of someone else. You're balancing two realities, the truth you're living and the truth they're ready to hear. And that balance is harder than anyone admits. The pressure of appearing strong. When my health declined in 2018, when my breathing became tight, when I couldn't walk far, when I was exhausted after the simplest tasks, I didn't want my children to worry. Parents don't want to scare their children. We don't want to burden them. We don't want them laying awake wondering if the world is safe. So we do what parents have done for generations. We appear strong, even when we're not. We downplay. We smile. We reassure. We say, "I'm fine," even when we're fighting for breath. And the pressure of holding that mask, that quiet protection, is a kind of emotional labour that no one teaches you how to manage. The moment that shifts everything. There was a moment after my diagnosis, after the hospital stay, after being told I might never return to work, where I realised something. I couldn't parent from fear. I couldn't raise my children with the message, "Don't worry, I'll hide everything from you." Because the truth is, children don't need you to be invincible. They need you to be present. They need honesty in the right doses. They need reassurance without denial. They need connection, not perfection. That was a turning point for me. I stopped trying to be the unbreakable parent and started becoming the emotionally present one. Parenting through relapses and hospital admissions. When I collapsed again in December 2022 and nearly lost consciousness, when I was unable to speak or move, when I was being rushed back to resus. It wasn't just a fear of dying that moved through my mind. It was a fear of leaving my children. Fear of not being there. Fear of not seeing them grow. Fear of them not understanding what's happened. Fear of the life they'd have without me. Sometimes the strongest fight you give comes from the people who love you. In that moment, the moment everything blurred, the moment my blood pressure fell to 53, the moment I felt trapped inside myself. The decision wasn't philosophical, it was parental. I'm not going anywhere, not today. And I thought, the year my work collapsed and how it affected my parenting. 2024 was the year everything fell apart. The restructure, being undervalued, doing 3 jobs, the collapse, the CCU admission, the emotional exhaust, the realisation I needed to leave. And once again, I had to parent through chaos. It's the truth that most people never say out loud. Your children can feel your stress, even when you say nothing. So I tried, as parents do, to hold things steady at home, even when things were unstable at work. But something shifted that year. For the first time, I allowed myself to be human in front of them. Not weak, but human. Honest, open, and gentle. I didn't burden them, but also didn't pretend everything was perfect. And that honesty deepened our relationship. When I left the NHS in 2025, it wasn't just a career change, it was a life change. And I realised something profound. Starting over doesn't just affect you, it affects the people who love you. But it also teaches your children something powerful, that reinvention is possible, that courage is ageless, that it's never too late to rebuild, that you can walk away from environments that don't value you, that you can choose a life that feels aligned, that you can rise from difficult chapters. And identity is not fixed, it evolves. And becoming an entrepreneur at 60 isn't just inspiring for you, it's inspiring for them. The leadership lessons of parenting under pressure. 1. Presence matters more than perfection. Your children don't need you to be invincible. They need you to be real, steady, and emotionally available. 2. Honesty creates connection. Age-appropriate truth makes your home safer, not scarier. 3. Resilience is taught through how you rise, not how you hide your pain. Your children learn courage from watching you navigate life honestly. 4. Your boundaries teach them theirs. When you leave environments that harm you, you teach them to do the same. 5. Love is leadership, and leadership at its core is the ability to stay connected even when life is difficult. A practical tool. The 3 questions that ground a parent. Ask yourself, 1. What do my children actually need from me today? Not the perfect version, the present one. 2. What pressure am I carrying that isn't theirs? Release it. Let them be children. 3. What one thing can I model today that teaches resilience? Calm, honesty, rest, self-compassion, courage. You don't need to do all 3. One is enough. A reflective moment for you. Take a breath. Place your hand gently on your chest. Ask yourself, where can I be softer with myself so that I can be stronger with my child? That's the heart of emotional leadership. That's the heart of parenting. And it's the heart of becoming unbreakable. Parenting through pressure isn't about getting everything right. It's about being human while still showing up. It's about balancing honesty with protection. It's about leading through love, even when life feels heavy. Your children don't need a perfect parent. They need one who stays true, stays present, stays real, and keeps choosing life for themselves and for the family. And that's exactly what you've done. If this episode resonated with you, especially if you're beginning to reflect on how you are beyond roles, responsibility, or what others expect of you, you're very welcome to follow Becoming Unbreakable for future episodes. And if you know someone who's quietly re-examining their identity, navigating change, or learning to reconnect with themselves after a period of challenge, sharing this episode may help them feel understood and less alone.